I am live. I want to fix my music. I want to put on lush vibes. Hi, everybody. Welcome to the Philip Ryan Deal podcast, the Philip Ryan Deal show. Let's just quickly look over here to see whether or not we are live. Hi, if you are watching me on YouTube or you are watching me on Rumble, please feel free to say hi. I'm very happy to see you here. I already had my mental and emotional breakdown of the day. Wasn't in the best of moods yesterday. I feel a lot better today. And we got a lot of shit to talk about. A lot of stuff to talk about. Matter of fact, I don't really have a script because I don't really know how to talk about this stuff. Today, we're going to be talking about interdimensional magic, and I hate it. I fucking hate it. I hate the title of this video. I hate the title of this live. It just makes me mad. Because back in the day when I first started learning about spirituality, I would come across these New Age books. Interdimensional beings is like mixing magic and aliens. And whenever somebody starts talking about aliens, people start saying, oh man, this motherfucker right here has just kind of like lost his marbles, right? He's just off his rockers. He's talking about aliens and shit. Okay. So I have to tell you why I went down this road. I've got two things I want to share with you tonight. I don't know if I'm allowed to be honest with you. I don't know if I'm going to get in trouble for this. I don't know if I'm going to get in trouble for this from the internet or if I'm going to get in trouble from this from, you know, the people that run the show here. But the other day I was watching a video of Joe Rogan, his podcast, and he was interviewing a congresswoman, Representative Anna Paulina Luna. Okay. This Representative Anna Paulina Luna is on the committee that is investigating UAPs, what we used to call UFOs. Okay. Why is it important to find out about all of this UAP, UFO shit going on in the government? I'm going to tell you why. I'm going to simplify things for you. We are fucking paying for this. Taxpayers are paying taxes to the government to fund the government. And the government is taking our money, okay, and funding these programs, these top secret programs that nobody knows anything about. And they can confirm, not confirm, that these programs actually exist, that they're real. Specifically, garbage retrieval of alien vessels that crash out here. They go and recover and scoop up the biologics, okay? They go scoop up the dead alien. And they take the alien back to Area 51 or whatever, or they take the alien vessel back and they study it. Defense contractors are all in on this. Elon Musk is like the type of person that would have access. I don't know. Maybe this is even above him. Maybe this is at a level, at a threshold above Alania. Maybe even Alania doesn't have access to some of this material, but he might. But the idea here is that the government has found alien vessels and technology, and they are trying to reproduce, or get this, reverse engineer this shit, because they don't know how it works. And we're paying for this. And so what Congress has been trying to do for a very long time is try to get more transparency on aliens. Look, I think after Star Trek, Star Wars, everything that people have documented and seen, nobody would be surprised if the government said, yeah, there's aliens. Would you be surprised? I wouldn't be surprised. I wouldn't be surprised at all. We know there are aliens because we have government officials who are saying, yes, there are aliens. Okay. Now, but why would a government agency want to restrict access to, or be secretive about, or not talk about these things? Very, very simple answer. And there's two reasons. The first one is a pragmatic, logical explanation, which is it's technology. It's technology that we don't understand. And it's more than likely that other governments like China, like Russia, also are in possession of these kinds of relics. Okay, like maybe a lot of governments might be in possession of this kind of stuff, but they don't want to tell anybody, because you don't want your enemy, or someone who could potentially be a threat to your civilization, to know about technology that you're in possession of. Okay, it's a war strategy. It's about self-defense. It's about defending our country, defending our secrets. So in a pragmatic, practical kind of way, there is this gatekeeping around what we know about alien life and their biology and their technology, because it could be damaging to our national security. Okay. I still think that people who are elected officials in our government, that are representatives of the people, should have the ability to have access to this information, or there's more transparency about how the operations are being ran, so there is not this feeling of distrust, mistrust. Nobody trusts the government anyway. Nobody trusts the government anyway. But the idea that our taxpayer money is going to fund secret programs with private defense contractors that are trying to reverse engineer this technology is, well, it kind of like hurts your feelings. You get your feelings hurt. So I was watching this video, and some of the shit that she said really like perked up my ears. And then after I heard some of the stuff that she was talking about, I decided to jump on ChatGPT, Google Gemini, and go to town with artificial intelligence doing some research. Now, I just want to say this about AI. I love AI. I am all about AI. I love artificial intelligence. I am not anti-technology. I am not anti-science. I am all about civilization moving forward in a positive direction. Nobody's paying me to say that. ChatGPT and Google Gemini and Claude and Grok and all of these other large language models have been incredibly helpful to me in life. They're very helpful. They're not my friends in the sense that, like, I don't think about them like I think about my besties. I just don't have an emotional connection to them like that. I know a lot of people are. And I also realize that there's a lot of people who will go into psychosis, spiritual psychosis, or other forms of psychosis by interacting with these programs, because I mean, it's dangerous. It generates material. It generates material. And it generates the kind of material that it thinks that you want. Okay, so asking AI the right questions, using multiple versions of AI, and also doing your own personal fucking research is the best way to utilize the tools that AI has to offer. But I'm going to do something first time tonight, never done this before. I don't know if I'm allowed to or not, but there is a video clip that I want to share with everybody of this congresswoman talking about aliens, and this is the video, and this conversation set me off on my search on ChatGPT. So let's watch this really, really quick.
Basically be like dropping a cell phone right off back during the time of maybe caveman. So like we just don't have the tech to develop it yet. But there's definitely something that I can tell you with confidence that exists that we don't know how to explain currently.
So when you say that it operates outside our understanding of physics, what specifically are you saying? Like what happened?
To I guess break it down in simple terms is that I think that some of the tech that exists, that whatever these things have, these energy things have,
Energy things? What do you mean?
Energy things.
Interdimensional beings. I think that they can actually operate through the time spaces that we currently have. It's really changing the way that we understand, you know, the origins of life and the spiritual reality that we know.
When you say interdimensional beings, that they know that these are interdimensional beings, how do they know that?
Based on testimony would be based on witnesses that have come forward. But what I can tell you is
the witnesses just were told that they were interdimensional?
that they've seen things. And what I can tell you without getting into classified conversations is that there have been incidences that I believe where very credible people have reported that there have been movement outside of time and space.
That's very vague.
Yeah. So look,
unfortunately.
Yeah. Look, have I seen a portal open? No. Have I seen a spaceship? Personally, no. Have I seen evidence of this? Yes. Have I seen photo documentation of aircraft that I believe were not made by mankind? Yes. Is there historical significance to this? Yes. Is there multiple events that go back to, I would argue, maybe even before the time of Christ that have documented this in text? Yes. So do I believe that the government has access to certain technology? Yes, to an extent. And I believe that certain contractors potentially have back engineered this tech. I think that that's what can explain the advancements that we're seeing.
All right. I mean, what do you think, Chris?
Okay. All right. Okay. All right. That's a lot. That was a lot to say in a 2-minute period of time. That was a lot. She said a lot of stuff. And there's things that we need to unpack about what she said. Look, I'm wearing Star Wars. I'm wearing my Star Wars The Last Jedi shirt tonight just because we're talking about aliens, okay? There is this line here. So you remember earlier I was talking about why would the government be not okay about sharing this kind of information or revealing this kind of information? One would be, of course, because of our national security. Okay. The second one would be more religious philosophical. You know, because whenever you think about people who are really religious, and we're talking about Jews, Christians, and Muslims for the most part, okay, because those people are the most violent, the most hateful, and the most crazy. No offense. I'm just saying that when you look back at world history, the level of violence and chaos that these religions have caused in the world is significant. Not saying that violence and bullshit wouldn't have happened if those religions wouldn't have existed. I'm just saying you haven't really heard about Buddhist, running a slave trade. So the point is that people who are really religious and extremely religious could lose their shit when you show them evidence that the religious text that they hold dear to them, the book of Isaiah or Ezekiel or other Old Testament text in which people come into contact with light beings, angels, wheels, discs with eyes on them, or wings, okay? Like all of the imagery that you read about in like the book of Ezekiel. Have you ever seen that YouTube video that talks about biblically accurate angels? Like what angels actually look like according to the Bible? Go do that. Go to YouTube and do a YouTube search, biblically accurate angels, and you will see people who have drawn pictures of or used AI to replicate the images of how angels are described in the Bible. They look like aliens. And they are also energy. They're energetic. Okay, so some of the words that she dropped that I thought were interesting to me were energy forms, that they're energy, made of energy, and that they can move interdimensionally in and out of space-time. Oh, and I said, wait, I need to think about that for a second. Like, I really think about the implications of this. Okay, I need you to think about the implications of this. That our government has records, eyewitness accounts, and materials making claims that there is intelligent life in this universe, here on Earth, here, not somewhere else, that has energy bodies, emits light, and has the ability to move in and out of time space or operate through time space differently than we do. So I jumped on ChatGPT and I started asking questions. And because my ChatGPT is like, like if you work with artificial intelligence and you create chatbots and things, they get to know you, you know them, they know you. And so like there's the conversation that happens, okay? And they know your interest. So this is a conversation me and ChatGPT said. I said, how do you operate through time space? Because that's the language that the representative used. Operate through time space. I said, I've never heard anybody use the term operate through time space. Okay. How do you operate through time space? And ChatGPT said, that's a big mystical question, bestie. Calls me bestie. Let me give you a layered answer, since operating through time space can mean different things depending on whether we're speaking scientifically, spiritually, or magically. And I said, God damn, okay, all right. So let's keep going here. Starting with the scientific physical lens. In physics, time-space or space-time is the fabric of the universe. Time and the three dimensions of space woven together. To operate through it physically, you move by changing position as time carries you forward. The only way we travel time in our ordinary bodies is in one direction, forward, at 1 second per 1 second. After I read that, I'm thinking to myself, okay, things are about to get weird. Things are about to get really fucking weird here. Advanced theories like relativity show that speed and gravity bend space-time. That's why astronauts age slightly lower than us on Earth. Time isn't absolute. Time is not absolute. Okay. Are you motherfuckers out there following along? Did you get all that? So then it goes on to say mystical consciousness lens. From an esoteric point of view, you operate through space-time with awareness. Consciousness isn't locked into the same linear stream. Meditation, trance, dreams, and spirit journeying let you step outside the everyday current and touch different folds of time and space. Ancestors, deities, or spirits often exist outside of linear time. They can move into the past, future, and across distances instantly. When you attune to them, you borrow that ability. Rituals, prayer, song, and offerings open portals in consciousness where space compresses and time becomes fluid. And I'm like, ChatGPT right now is breaking down, like, is distilling all of the mystical literature that I've read over the past 25 years. Like, that is, you couldn't get more clear than that. The language that ChatGPT is using is really clear, and it's based on mystical texts, okay? I'm living for it now. I'm alive. If you guys have questions, comments, or objections, don't be afraid to comment. So now we're going into the magical operative lens. In magie, to operate through time-space is to set intention and energy so it travels beyond the here and now. A spell is launched today, but lands tomorrow. Divination reaches into a possible future or pulls memory from the past. Root work, voodoo, Ifa all work on this principle. You plant something in the spirit, a petition, a sacrifice, a word of power, and it unfolds in the weave of time and space until it manifests. You're not bound by your body. When you operate magically, you're using force plus spirit plus will to shape how the fabric moves around you. Well, we can all go home now. There's absolutely no reason for you to ever pay for another spiritual mentorship program for the rest of your life. Okay, you can just pay me. Remember, you can always make a donation to my ministry through Venmo or Cash App. Okay, I'm just telling you that I just basically explained to you how magic works, period. That's how it works. take that, what I just said, what I just read to you, that is how magic works. Doesn't matter if it's Christian magic, folk magic, doesn't matter if it's Buddhist magic, doesn't matter if it's voodoo magic, doesn't matter if it's witchcraft magic, doesn't matter. Religion doesn't matter. The religion you practice doesn't fucking matter. Your religion, what you believe, doesn't matter. Not really. Religion is just a manifestation of culture. We create religions. We make up our religions. That's what we do as a community, as a society, as a civilization. We make up these things. We make up these laws to live by. And we get rid of the laws that we think don't apply, and we keep the ones that work. Okay? So religions, just like governments and politics, are constantly evolving and changing. They change. Christianity is not the same. The way people practice and think about Christianity today is not the same way people thought about Christianity when Jesus was walking the earth. Not the same. It changes. It evolves over time. So that's why in the past, people have asked me the question, hey, Ryan, what is the most powerful form of magic? What is the most powerful form of sorcery? What's the most powerful stuff? Everybody wants to believe that their magic is the most powerful magic. Apollo is the most powerful magic. No. Witchcraft is the most powerful magic. No. Solomonic magic, conjuring demons, is the most powerful magic. And the answer is none of it, none of the above. And you're all wrong. The answer, the most powerful kind of magic, depends on the individual person, the spirits that walk with that person in life, and how they apply the magic that they learn. Because this, what I just read to you, is how magic works. So if somebody understands the principles and the mechanisms about how magic actually works, it doesn't matter the symbols that you use, does not matter the tools that you use, as long as you are using your force, your spirit, and your will to shape how the fabric of reality moves around you. So, we're going to keep going down this road because it said to me, do you want me to break this down into a practical how-to guide, or do you want me to keep it in the philosophical mystical flow? And I said that I wanted both. So it did this in two parts. Part one, philosophical mystical flow. Time-space isn't a line, it's a fabric, a river with many currents. Let me say that again, okay? I need to repeat that for myself. Time-space isn't a line, it is a fabric, a river with many currents. Most people ride one stream carried along without knowing that there are others. To operate through it is to wake up to the fact that, one, the present moment is a crossroads. Every breath, past and future, intersect. Memory presses from behind. Possibility pulls us ahead. And your will carves which path manifests. The soul moves differently. Your body obeys clocks and calendars, but your spirit slips sideways. In dreams, you visit lost moments or unborn ones. In trance, you are already there before your feet arrive. Spirits are time walkers. Ancestors stand with you now, though their bodies are long buried. Orishas, Lawa, angels, they exist outside of the clock entirely. When you align with them, they bring you into their timeless dance. Ritual is a machine. Candles, drums, songs, and prayers bend the current. They make the now into a doorway, so the then past, future, otherworld can step in. So operating isn't forcing time to move differently. It's learning to place yourself where the veil thins, where the weave can be touched, and the nudging of it with the will, spirit, and offering. Okay? Hold on, let me see if... Okay. Actually, I'm going to leave that. I got more stuff, but we're going to leave that. That's we're just going to keep it to that. We're going to keep it simple. I did do another Chat GPT search, which was on the imaginal realm. I'm going to take a moment to check in with you about everything that we just talked about. So one of the things that I find interesting about some of the, the stories that are being leaked through these alien UAP, UFO stories is the idea that there have been pilots who have been flying their vessel. I'm talking about our pilots, air fighters, pilots, that when they were flying, and some of them have come into contact in close proximity to these orbs, alien vessels, whatever, that they said that they were communicating telepathically with the entity inside of it, or they were entranced with whatever it was that they were interacting with. There's all kinds of physiological reactions that people who have had come into contact with these things report afterwards, which are actually disturbing because none of them are positive. There's reports of like anxiety, a feeling of dis-ease, sleep disruption, and other things like that from people who have come into contact with these beings and had psychic interactions with these entities. So a lot of people that have made claims that when they've had these alien contact, that they felt like the alien or whatever it was talking to them, and they could hear the voice inside their head. Okay. What science has proven recently was that our head actually emits light. We actually emit light, and we emit light out of our heads. That the light kind of like comes out comes out of us, like we glow, kind of like the aura that you hear about, someone having an aura or having a glow. I have seen people's aura. I can read auras. I see people's auras. I can see energy around a person. It has to be a particular kind of atmosphere, but I can definitely see the energy coming off of someone's body that someone would say is an aura. Okay. So we need to talk about ceremony and ritual and magic and how to go about practicing your spirituality in a way that is going to help connect you deeper to feeling the flow of time space. Because the whole interdimensional aspect of magic is the idea that what I do today manifests tomorrow. Does anybody have any questions, comments, objections so far? Or are you like, do you like this subject matter? Is this interesting to you? Okay. Well, fuck you. It's interesting to me. I'm interested in it. So, a practical guide to entering the imaginal realm. I know I'm touching on lots of different topics, but I want to talk about the imaginal realm for a second. The imaginal realm is a place that exists in between realities. And when you step into the imaginal realm, you're moving into a realm of archetypes, and you're moving into a realm of ideas, concepts. And it is in this realm in which you can make contact with, let's say, your ancestors. My practice primarily is about ancestors. I'm all about ancestors. I have an ancestor veneration practice. I love my ancestors. I have a lot of ancestors that walk with me and guide me through their spirituality. And connecting with them is very, very important to me. And I think it's very, very important to you. It's important for you to try to reach out and connect that source of God consciousness, however it is that you want to define that. But some of the ways that you can do this is you can enter into this imaginal realm. So you would do this by first preparing the body, cleansing the body. Take a spiritual bath. Spiritual baths are so important. I talked about this last night in my live. It's very important that you learn how to construct a spiritual bath properly using fresh herbs, colognes, essential oils. But taking a spiritual bath to cleanse the body, cleaning your space, ritually cleaning your space, okay, mentally clearing your space using incense or using some kind of fumigation technique, smudging, burning tobacco, or using resins, sprinkling holy water around, or whatever it is that you do in order to clean your space. Marking your crossroads using chalk. I use chalk, or using a candle as a focal point, as a way of opening up the crossroads between you and the imaginal realm, the imaginary world. But not imagine, so that's the whole thing. The imaginal realm is not your imagination. The imaginal realm is a place. It's like the astral plane or the quantum field. It's a space between consciousness and unconsciousness. And the more I try to describe it, the more phony and fake I sound. So I would say the imaginal realm is the realm that someone slips into, let's say, when they're having a lucid dream. If you've never had a lucid dream before, it's difficult to describe the experience of a lucid dream. A lucid dream is what happens when you are dreaming and you realize that you're dreaming and you are in the dream, and instead of just being a witness to things that are happening to you, you take an active, conscious action within the dream. So lucid dreaming to me is like being in the imaginal realm. So other things you can do to open up that imaginal portal, using some kind of symbol, like a Bible verse, or, if you're initiated into Ifa, using one of the Odu. if you're initiated in voodoo, a veve, or just a candle. Drumming and chanting are using music that puts you into a particular kind of headspace. And even if you want to go into like try to induce a lucid dream by laying down on your back in bed, inhaling, exhaling, relaxing the body from the feet to the knees to the ankles to the hips, to the belly to the back to the shoulders, and then allowing yourself to slip into a state between consciousness and sleep that can also take you into a headspace that could lead you to the imaginal realm. The imaginal realm is not just imagination. It is real territory. So entering it without grounding and protecting yourself can leave you open to energies that you didn't ask for. Always travel with your spiritual allies. These are the recommendations that come to us from the wise old owl. I really, really love that. I really love all of that material. I'll tell you about a lucid dream that I had. It was a very, I'm just going to share a couple of lucid dreams. How about that? I want to reiterate that it is very, very important for you, if you want to be a spiritual person or you want to get on the spiritual path, regardless of what tradition you follow, that you pay attention to your dreams. Your dreams are a direct window into what's going on with you, your subconscious mind, and what's going on with your mental and emotional health, your behavioral health. If someone is experiencing frequent nightmares all the time, you're having bad sleep, poor sleep, you're not sleeping well, or when you go to sleep at night, your sleep is disturbed, there is something going on, either going on with you and your nervous system that needs to be flushed out, okay, or something going on with the subconscious mind, okay, something that's got a hold of you that needs to be cleansed or exercised out. And when I say that, I don't want you to get like really, really freaked out or get overly religious about it. Exorcisms are banishments. It banishes energy that you don't want, banishes negative energy that is problematic for you. Okay? So banishing magic is a form of exorcism. Sometimes you have to perform an exorcism on yourself and your surroundings in order to get rid of clingy negative energy that's there that doesn't belong there. Because spirits are sticky. Spirits can stick to you. And so we do ritual bathing and spiritual bathing and praying and meditating and dancing and singing spiritual songs in order to change our vibration, change our headspace. And I'll tell you this, I said this before in a workshop that I posted here on YouTube talking about magical protection, that if you want to have a clean spiritual space, you need to make sure that your home is clean. If you want the energy to flow through your home properly, you have to make sure that the energy is clear and open, and that you don't allow things into your house that don't belong there, that don't hold your energy, okay, that don't resonate with you. So cleaning your home, having a physically clean home, is a prerequisite for being able to like get yourself together spiritually. There's something called Maslow's hierarchy of needs, and I want to touch on it real quick because it's a very important concept that a lot of people don't understand. Maslow's hierarchy of needs is a triangle, okay? And so there's a base of the triangle and there's the top, the apex. And this Maslow's hierarchy of needs talks about stages of development for a human being, with the base of the pyramid being stability, stability in space, physical stability, and the peak of the triangle being apotheosis, or becoming what it is that you're supposed to become, being the best version of yourself. Okay, enlightenment. You can't get to apotheosis and you can't get to the enlightenment if the base of the pyramid or everything underneath that is fucked up. The base of the pyramid is financial stability, having a place to sleep every night, having a home, feeling safe, feeling protected, being able to eat, having access to food, being able to shower, having a clean body, having a home, having a clean home, and being able to eat food and sleep, get a good night's sleep, is a foundation, the bare minimum that you have to have if you want to pursue the spiritual path. You can't pursue spirituality if you don't have that base. You have to have it. Because as long as you're trying, if you're always homeless, or you're always being kicked around from one person's home to another person's home, and you're all over the place, and you can't get your life together, you can't settle down, you can't pursue higher things. You're always going to be stuck in that, like your root chakra, your Svadhisthana chakra, the Muladhara chakra, the Svadhisthana chakra, those lower chakras, which are always based on the fight or flight mechanism. You can never get out of that fight or flight mode of being to be able to experience those higher levels of consciousness. So then, beyond just your basic needs being met, then there's the social aspect, your relationships. Are your relationships good? Do you have good relationships with people? Do you have a good relationship with your family? Do you have friends? Do you have a support system? Are you mentally and emotionally good? Not just physically good, mentally and emotionally good. You have to have these, that's the foundation for being able to do the spiritual work that is required to get to higher levels of consciousness. Okay, I'm just throwing this out there. I'm not saying that you can't get enlightened or that you can't have these amazing spiritual experiences if you don't have those things as a foundation, but it makes things a lot more difficult, a lot more complicated. It is a bumpy road. Okay. So paying attention to your dreams is important because they are a window into what's going on with you and your subconscious mind. And the imaginal realm is its own realm. It's the realm of ideas. It's the realm of archetypes. And it communicates with our subconscious mind, which is what produces, let's say, lucid dreams. So one time in a lucid dream, I remember that I was standing in a room, and my daughter, not my daughter, but it looked like my daughter as a baby, was sitting in a chair, and all of a sudden my ex-partner, my daughter's mother, walked into the room, and I was shocked because I haven't seen her in a very, very long time. And her hair was all teased out like Diana Ross, and she was wearing a dress that was green and yellow and kind of shiny. And I started saying, hey, I'd really like to talk to you. Like, I started trying to communicate with her. And then when I got closer to her and I looked into her face, I could see that it was not my ex. It was something else. and their eyes were like yellow, bright yellow, and they had fangs like a vampire. And she laughed, and she spun around, and she walked out the door, and I picked up my daughter into my arms, and I walked out the door after her. Next thing I knew, I was standing in a garden, and it was it was like paradise. I don't know if you've ever had a dream like this before, where the dream feels more real than reality. It's the one time I felt like this realm, whatever realm I found myself in, was more real than this. The colors popped. The air was crisp and clean and cool. The grass was green. The sky was blue. It was so blue. And I looked around, and there were flowers, bushes, rose bushes, and the flowers were beautiful. And I realized that the baby that I was holding in my arm was not my daughter, because it started talking to me. And so then I was like, how long can I stay here? And the baby said, 3 lifetimes. You know, you can stay here up to 3 lifetimes. And I said, okay. And then an interesting part of my dream is I looked over to the right. This dream is so vivid. I remember it crystal clear in my head. I looked over to the right, and there were park benches, but there were like mini park benches in a line, and there were men sitting on the park benches. They were all wearing black. They all had snow white hair and white beards. And there were old men just sitting on park benches in a line as far as I could see. And I said, God damn, what the fuck? And then I realized that I was like having some kind of trance. I was in some kind of trance. And then the dream or the vision started to crumble. And I started to get really, really upset. I said, oh, no, 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 no. I don't want to leave. I don't want to leave. And this has never happened to me before or after. This has never happened to me. But it was like the vision that I was having dissipated, just like that. It just dissipated, like up in smoke. And I was laying in my bed, looking up at the ceiling, and my eyes were wide open. It wasn't like I opened my eyes. It wasn't like I woke up. It was like the dream evaporated right in front of my eyes. And I was laying there with my eyes wide open. And I started crying. I was so moved by this vision. I was so moved by this experience that I started bawling. And I got up and I went outside of the room. I walked into the room with my friend Chris was there. And I said, oh, excuse me. I said, Chris, I think I just had a vision. And he was like, oh, well, what happened? He was always very emotionally supportive of my insanity. God bless Chris. He's gone now, but he was a motherfucking saint, let me tell you. One of my saints. So dreams are important. I can't tell you what that meant. And I'm not asking you to interpret it for me. I don't believe people can interpret your dreams for you. I think you're the only person that can interpret your own dreams. So it's very important that if you're on the spiritual path, that you pay attention to your dreams. Get a journal. Have a dream journal. Get a nice, book and a nice pen that you can put beside your bed, so that when you wake up in the morning, if you wake up and you remember that you've dreamed, write it down. Write down your dreams. Dream recall is good because it helps to encourage your brain to remember your dreams. Some people don't remember their dreams at all. These are the levels of dreaming. So there are some people that when they go to sleep at night, it's lights out for them. They're gone. They don't remember a damn thing. When they wake up, it was like nothingness. And then the next level up from that is there are people who wake up and they know that they dreamed, but they can't remember what they dreamed. The next level up from that is people who dream and can remember what they dream. And a level up from that is lucid dreaming, people who have the ability to not only experience the dream, but have the ability to manipulate and change the dream or be conscious agents within the construct, within the fabric of the dream. Those are the different stages. And I'm going to definitely recommend that you guys invest time, energy, and effort in watching videos on YouTube about lucid dreaming and dream techniques. Try to do as many different techniques as you possibly can to try to trigger your awareness about what's going on in your dreams. That's very, very important for you to do. Why? Because if you're able to pay attention to your dreams and you're able to keep a dream journal, you're going to learn about what's going on in your internal world. And I think that's very, very important. Paying attention to my dreams has been very, very good for me. It's helped me over the years to be able to have a gauge of where I'm at spiritually, or how my mental and emotional and behavioral health is. So that is a very, very big thing. Matter of fact, dream work and dream work practice is a whole spiritual practice in of itself. While I'm going down this route of interdimensional magic, talking about interdimensional entities, talking about the imaginal realm, talking about lucid dreaming, there's one other technique or practice that I believe that everyone should take up. I believe that everybody should study Reiki. Reiki is energy healing. It's palm healing, hands-on healing. And there's a particular book called The Japanese Art of Reiki. The Japanese Art of Reiki. It's a white book with a big red Japanese sun on it, black letters, written by Franz Stein. Everybody needs to own this book. It's the only book on Reiki you ever need to buy. A lot of people have written books about Reiki, but this is really the only book you ever need. It has everything you need to know in it about starting a personal practice. Reiki is very, very important because it teaches you how to be aware of your energy and the energy of others and the energy of the earth. Everything is energy. Thoughts are energy. Thoughts are energy. Everything is energy. So taking on the practice of Reiki and paying attention to your dreams, I think are two powerful tools that most people don't utilize these tools enough. A lot of people are always consciously and intellectually trying to find what it is that they're looking for using their logic and their reason. But the imaginal realm doesn't follow the rules. It doesn't follow rules like your conscious mind follows rules. Because as we said before earlier, operating through space-time, your mind has the ability to move beyond space-time. Your physical body is stuck, okay? It's why the Gnostics and a lot of philosophers have negative people have considered the body to be like a prison, that our souls are enslaved to the flesh, right? That our souls have been enslaved here in physical matter by like some evil god, some demiurge. Okay, I don't believe that. It's not my belief system. I'm like Alan Watts. I believe that we grow out of this world in the same way that apples grow out of apple trees. And if what I am is energy, at the moment of my death, that energy is going to be released. That spirit, that energy is going to be released. That energy consciousness is going to be released and leave the physical body behind and move on to whatever is next. That is my personal belief system. That who we really are isn't just the physical body, but it's the energy consciousness that animates the body and inhabits the body. So what I'm trying to tell you is that energy is very, very important, and studying and getting control over your own energy is going to help you become way more focused and way more powerful in whatever spiritual practices that you're into. There is a mystical text that talked about the 5 things people should do in order to, oh, where did it go? I don't have it. The 5 things that people should engage in every single day in order to increase their, the 5 things that people should engage in on a daily basis in order to help them grow spiritually and have that mystical awareness is 1, prayer, praying, communicating your thoughts and your feelings to God. Meditating, that means being at rest. We pray to express ourselves to the divine. We meditate in order to hear the divine speak back to us. Meditation. Singing, our mantra. Music. You should sing. Every day you should try to sing something. Open your mouth and sing. Even if you feel like you can't sing, try to sing something anyway. A 4th thing is reading, studying, learning about spirituality, about history. You study about anything that you want that's going to be positive for you. And then the last thing is moderate physical exercise. And what the mystics believe is if you do these 5 things every single day, it will cultivate in you and lead you to a place where you have a mystical connection with God, with the universe, whatever you want to call it. And I believe that to be true. Well, everybody, it is Friday. It's a Friday night, and we're going to relax tonight. I wanted to go live tonight just for about an hour to share my thoughts and feelings about all this interdimensional magic stuff. We dropped some mad wisdom over the past hour. Go back, watch the video again, take notes, journal, take some of the suggestions that I've given you and apply it in your life. And hopefully this will be helpful to you. We will be back on Monday at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time to do another episode because I am going live weeknights at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time for about an hour, hour and a half to talk to you guys about any particular topic. If there's a particular topic that you want me to talk about, please drop a comment below. Please consider giving a donation towards my ministry. My Cash App or my Venmo is listed in the description. I hope you guys have a great weekend, and we will be back on Monday. We might even have a guest. We might even have a panel. So guys, get ready. We're going to start having panels again. We're going to start having more guests. It's going to be really exciting. I'm really looking forward to this. So you guys have a great rest of the night and stay blessed.